Hi, performers and achievers. Welcome to Performers and Achievers Daily with me, Raj Gavurla. In today's episode, we're discussing motivation. I was talking with someone and they were saying that their patients, their customers, this was a physical therapy place, that they sometimes come in and say, they just don't have the motivation to do the exercises. They think they'll do them wrong, or there's always that battle. Is it really working? Is it really benefiting them? Is it creating outcomes, results, breakthroughs? And so the other part of it is exactly that. They just don't have the mental strategies or the mental skills in order to make it a more enjoyable experience, more beneficial experience, one where they have tangible, beneficial results, outcomes, breakthroughs. And so here are some ways to gain motivation. Now, the thing about motivation, as we all know, is that it wears off. However, it is necessary, though, and needed. Ask any sports coach before a game, motivating their team during the season. They may bring in someone to motivate them, right? They do a motivational talk, a pep talk, right? And it works. It works for that duration. It's a small duration, however, it's worth the results, the outcomes, the breakthroughs that are generated, which no one knows exactly what those are, what the tangible benefits are, right? However, it does give the team a significant advantage. It gives them a gain in their skill set, in their abilities, in their approach to this specific game. And so it is obviously customized for this specific game that they're getting ready to play, or it's customized to, let's say, keep people motivated when during the season it's a long season, so maybe a quarter of the way through or halfway through. There's something for them to look forward to, or just some impetus, some stimulation for them. So motivation. So motivation obviously is very important. So here are some ways, and these are ways that are customized to you, customized to your team. One is obviously is to know your why. What is your why? And when I say you know your why, this is more than just knowing what your why is. And you can think of your why as your purpose, your mission. Okay. Just your why. Know your why. Okay. So that's very, very important. And it needs to have something in there that's something that drives you, that excites you, that it just makes it fulfilling for you, worthwhile for you, whatever that may be. It's going to be different for each person. And you don't want to complicate it too much. However, again, you don't want it to be just some generic type of why, okay? Because that's not going to be motivational. The second strategy, mental skill is to read something motivational. Do you ever read things that are motivational? It really works. Read something that's motivational. A lot of our reading and even listening to the music that we listen to It's not necessarily motivational. And I get it, right? Some of it is there because that's just the way it is. And you interpret it a certain way. And, maybe you can sort of relate or have some kind of relevance to you. But however, we're talking about motivation here. And so for motivation, read something that's motivational. It'll make a big difference. It doesn't need to be a long passage or a long book. It can be. It can be a book. It can be listening to a specific song, whatever it may be. But then it can also just be a few paragraphs, maybe a story, something motivational. So read something motivational. Another way to motivate. And again, this is going to wear off. However, the duration and when to use this is what's important, the timing of it. Just like when you take a shower, it wears off and you take a shower the next day, right? Same thing with motivation. The next one is to create a positive mental picture. Positive mental picture. Okay. That's very important. And another way to go deeper into that is by creating a vision board. For those of you who use my workbook, at the beginning, I have a vision board where in the workbook you just write in and even paste pictures of yourself. And then 6 months later, you do the exercise again and see what outcomes you received, what results, what are the tangible benefits, what are the breakthroughs, right? Or it could be a year later. So a vision board. And you can put this vision board in different places. It doesn't need to be a complex vision board. I have a structure that I can show you to use it. However, you can use the vision board. And that vision board can be put on your phone as like a screensaver. It can be put on your computer. It can be put on, made into like a little poster that you can put on your wall in your office. So they have a vision board. The next is to have signs of success. So when you go into a specific area, right, there's certain artifacts, there's certain messages, quotes, whatever it may be, pictures that show signs of success, something that's relevant and relatable to you, that is motivational to you. And then here's another one. And this is where this is spaced repetition and it's just every day. And that is passwords. When you put in your password, you can put in something motivational, like your password may be simplify. Or if that's too simple of a password and it won't take it, simplify 10 star exclamation mark. Now, the 10-star exclamation mark have no significance. However, the word simplify is still there. Or it could be the word vibrant, or it could be tenacity, or it could be excellent communication skills. Well, that'd be a long password. However, I think you get the message. So your passwords can be used. Okay. And then obviously there's the one word focus. So every 3 months, which is a quarter, actually every 4 months, no, every 3 months, which is a quarter, I have my one word focus. So my one word focus is simplify. Simplify. And then we have some other ones. So we have, for example, I mentioned signs of success. We also have start, stop, continue. As you reflect or before you go into, as you're mentally preparing. And a lot of these are for mental preparation. You go and you say, okay, and think about, tell yourself, talk to yourself about what will you start? I'm going to start to implement this mental skill. What do you want to stop? I want to stop making this unforced error, or I want to stop chasing someone. I want to make sure I want to stop targeting the wrong prospects or potential customers. Then what do you want to continue? Well, what worked well, what generated results, outcomes, breakthroughs. How can you generate those again or produce those again? So there's this battle that goes on, right? And then there's motivation in the sense that do you have a system? Do you have your process? And is your system and your process enjoyable and fun? Now, when I say enjoyable and fun, that doesn't mean it's enjoyable and fun all the time. However, it does mean that it's enjoyable and fun most of the time. And wherever there is that battle going on, because there is a battle every day, then are you able to use your motivation skills to realize that be kinder to yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to the people that are in your life, the ones that are on your side or on your support system or in your support system, in your network. It's not so complicated. So if you're like trying to just instantly motivate yourself to go do something without the proper mental preparation and having your system that's enjoyable and fun and your process that's enjoyable and fun, then some days it's going to be too hard, too difficult. And that battle that goes on is harder. So we want to remove that battle or decrease it as much as we can. And by doing that, so you'll see that you're putting your time, your energy, your motivation towards things that have higher tangible benefits. You'll receive tangible benefits. You just won't know exactly what the results, the outcomes, and the breakthroughs will be. And here's an example of that. Currently, I'm in physical therapy. I'm not really able to jump right now and do some of the things so that I can play soccer, basketball, and tennis. However, I do go out there and I do still do shadow work and I do some just regular, just ball handling and shooting at not such an intense level, passing the ball and then playing tennis, mostly doubles. And what I've noticed as a tangible benefit from the physical therapy, although I cannot go at a non-injured in a non-injured way, is that my balance, my stability of when I'm hitting the ball is so much greater now. And it's because of the physical therapy and the combination of things also. And that combination of things is that I've also taken the load off of my mind. I've taken the load off of my heart, right? And I am showing heart by recognizing and having awareness of what my situation is and adapting and making adjustments so that I can continue to enjoy my system, my process, and it's enjoyable and fun most of the time. Some days, yes, there is a battle. And on those days, you have other skills that you may use depending upon the situation. It could be coping skills, it could be inspiration, it could be taking a vacation, just something that sort of resets you. You may use reflection or journaling. Journaling, I journal. So it just helps to process your feelings, your emotions. It helps to see where what you can start, what you should start, what you should stop, and then where you should continue. And also, it just gets things out of your mind and into onto paper, just like my success checklist. That's a motivation tool where you just write down in a checklist format what is what's on your success checklist for today. And most days I accomplish all of mine because I don't try to put too much on there. Okay. I usually have two main business items. Okay. And then I have some form of exercise. So those are the three things that I do daily. Now it's important what those business items are. Okay. And it's important on what the exercise is. And that's why expertise is so important. You heard me mention this in my yesterday's podcast. It's not that maybe you do have some knowledge in an area, some skills in the area, some experience in an area. Good. It's good to do that research. However, what's valuable and why customers come and see me and they receive help and support from me is because of the way that I put it together for them, taking into account their definition of success. What is their definition of success? And that's different for each person. And so that's what makes motivation valuable. And is there a battle every day? There is. There's a battle in the morning when getting up. Some people are morning people, some people aren't. There may be battle in the late afternoon, or they just maybe battle just thinking, I'm doing this. It's fulfilling. It's successful. However, I'm just not receiving the results, the outcomes, the breakthroughs that I would like. And that's a hard battle there. However, as long as it's generating tangible benefits and it's fulfilling and it's enjoyable and you have fun, then that probably lets you continue doing this. And it's a combination of things that will eventually ignite it to where you are, to where it is working a little better for you and a little better and a little better, right? So that's what I have for you on motivation. Now we have some other motivation. Obviously, people bring me in, and when they bring me in to inspire, edutainment, and motivate their people. So I use a lot of different elements, which I won't go into here. However, some of them are storytelling. I use specific examples, right? I might use music. I might use some form of video or art. Of course, I'm always using my expertise as well. So I'm making it an enjoyable and fun experience for them with tangible benefits. Your bonus today, our bonus assignment is, do you ever, to motivate yourself, do you ever watch highlights of yourself? Those could be highlights, as in highlights for sports. It could be highlights in life. Maybe you have a picture album with your family, maybe with some friends, with something you achieved, accomplished. Could be highlights from you acting to, let's say you're a professional actor and you're booked, but you're not booked as often as you'd like. And you do a lot of self tapes. However, you have been booked some and go back and watch those highlights of yourself. Same thing with, are you a professional speaker or expert who speaks professionally? You can go on your website and watch a clip of yours or go on YouTube and look at some of your videos, just so it's showing you that you are heading in the right direction, right? And it's motivational because you reflect on where you are now and how far you've come. You've really come a long way. However, to get to the next level, it takes that motivation. It takes learning to grow your skills. It takes probably different people coming into your life. You connecting with different people. It takes a combination of things. And so that's very important on why the use of motivation and the importance of motivation. So yes, does motivation work? It does. However, it has a duration. It has a duration. And it's not as easy as just keep doing that duration over and over again, because that duration is going to last for only so long. And then you use it as a mental preparation to actually do or achieve or accomplish or perform or play or work, doing a specific task towards a specific goal, towards a specific dream, towards a specific initiative. That's what I have for you today. If you like my podcast, like it, comment in the comment section. For those of you who are interested in my private, personal, professional, confidential services and programs, visit my website, rajgavurla.com, fill out the brief form, and we will contact you as soon as we can. Enjoy your day.